And welcome back, everybody, to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over here. Two goalies, one Mike. Great vibes, live music, entertainment at all their locations. So please make sure you stop on in to your local Fatty Beer and keep an eye out, too, as well for our announcement, more information on the Sabres watch party that will be happening outside of the Lancaster location, of course, weather permitting. And of course, start time too. I think they're hoping for like a 7 p.m. or after start time. They're going to close down all of Main Street, going to have giant screens at the end of each street, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be an absolute blast. So please keep your eye out for more information regarding that. And shout out to our sponsor, Extreme Discount Mattress, Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds, featuring the cool gel memory foam, two-sided mattress, tele latex, organic mattress, Chatham Wells, and of course Scott Living, all for 1/3 to half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop any of their 7 locations across Western New York, or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That's Extreme with an X. If you're looking for more savings, check out their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with 80% off their already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. You can get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And don't forget to mention that you're a fan of Two Goalies, One Mike. When you do, you get yourself a free mattress protector with the purchase of any mattress from Extreme Discount Mattress. So, hey, again, make sure that you mention that you watch the show, that you're a fan of the show. Save even more money, even more money than there is to be saved at Extreme Discount Mattress. I mean, you can't go wrong. I have a mattress from Extreme Discount Mattress. I've never slept better in my life. If there's a few things that you need to take care of in life, it's your back, it's your feet, and it's your neck. And you really handle 2 of those things at Extreme Discount Mattress. So I personally, I have this, believe it's a Scott Living mattress. Couldn't go wrong again. Can't say enough good things about Extreme Discount Mattress. So make sure you check them out. And yeah, let them know we sent you. Sorry for the long-winded ad read there. Kind of got caught by surprise. As you know from the last episode, we've been monetized now, and you have to watch out for the copyrighted stuff, and the last post game, we thought we had to upload new intro music, as some of you may remember. Once music that we thought wasn't copyrighted to go along with our countdown and whatnot. And apparently it was copyrighted, even though when we looked it up, it said it wasn't copyrighted. So we had to redo it. And normally I have it slotted inside. When you press go live here, it automatically plays the intros. Unfortunately, I forgot personally to do that, even though I uploaded them right before going live. I forgot to just, make that click that one button that kind of slots it in right when we go live. So there's 30 something seconds. We're sitting here, you're kind of waiting, you're here listening to music, and I'm like, I don't hear the music. What's going on? Pick me up. Oh, I'm live. So that's why you didn't see our opener there. So I do apologize. That is my fault. So that should be a surprise for anybody who watches this episode later on YouTube. So as you can see, I am riding solo. My co-host Connor Hurley was at the game today, and he had a blast. He filmed some content for us. If you follow along on Two Goalies with Mike on Twitter, you'll see that. Sabres with what didn't look like was going to be a decisive win at all. It was pretty tight. They, first time they trailed in what seemed like forever. They trailed for a little bit, 1-0, and Tage with an absolute gross move off of a rebound in front, drags it and wraps it around Forsberg to tie up the game. And then Sam Carrick opens the floodgates on a goal that was challenged for offsides, was taken back, and he ends up scoring the game-winning goal. I think, right. He's, I believe, yeah, he's, he had the game winner. Yeah, it was him. It was Tage, Carrick, and then who had the third? Oh, it was Dahlin, and then it was Benson with the empty netter. So, yeah, it's This has been an insane run. Tied for third in the NHL. Thank you, Mikey. Also, shout out here to Alexei Her 5244. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your support, man. Or her. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's all mashed together. So, but appreciate your support regardless. This team will never, I'm assuming you mean lose. I tend to believe so with the way they're finding to win games. This is brutal. Are you going to talk about this game? I am talking about the game right now. So, it's an incredible time to be a Sabres fan. Even if I am far from Buffalo, it really is, man. Here's the thing: the Sabres fans showed up in LA today. There was a lot. Connor was there. Sabres fans travel well. There were a lot of Sabres fans in that arena, to say the least. And if you watch the game or caught any of Hurls' uploads on Two Goalies One Mike, barn was packed. Was it the Crypto Arena? Was packed with Sabres fans tonight. So kind of like we know what that feels like when Toronto comes to town in years past. Kind of like what it was like in LA tonight for Buffalo. Sabres fans were showed up in full force, and you couldn't be more proud as a Sabres fan. I remember back in their cup runs, well, if you want, what you want to call it, from 05 to 07, when we played Carolina in the playoffs, like there were a lot of Sabres fans at those games in Carolina. And this team feels special. They do. Sam Carrick, Ricky STANICKY. Listen, in terms of deadline pickups, man, what a Yarmo masterclass. I texted Johnny Lazarus, who covers the Rangers, a good friend of me and a good friend of the show. And his exact words when I asked him to tell me more about Sam Carrick, he goes, I love that guy. He's such a beast and he's such a good dude, great in the locker room. And for all intents and purposes, that seems what it is. We get him for one more year too, which makes it even more exciting. Those Sabres fans in the crowd, they were loud on TV. 100%, man. Like you could hear them when the Sabres scored. It was so cool. So, but Sam Carrick, getting back to him, I don't know. Like it's funny. 5 goals in 8 games played for Buffalo. He had, I think it was 4 in 60, 4 in 60 with the Rangers. Now, again, the Rangers were an absolute train wreck the past 2 seasons. But that being said, like, I don't know, maybe just the role fits so much better here in Buffalo for Carrick. And, listen, that's not like, that wasn't like one of those greasy goals where you're just going in the net and you find a loose puck, kind of like the Dahlin goal we all thought was Zucker to begin with. Zach Benson takes a big hit to make a play. And we all saw in the replay how he kept it in play with his stick, even after it was, and that was another thing too, because I was actually at an engagement party watching the game and they had it on a projector and they didn't have any sound. So when I thought they were going to call that back just watching replay that about the high stick. I thought it was pretty close. And when the ref went like this, I think universally you think, oh, no goal. And then they kept the goal up on the scoreboard and Sabres had a power play. What's going on right now? We all in the room thought like, well, what's going on? Are they counting the goal? Did the ref make the wrong sign? Like, because normally if it's a goal, he still just points to the net or points to center ice. Like, didn't do that. So it was confusing at first. We were like, you got to be kidding me. And then it was like, oh, okay, it's a goal. So, but regardless, Sam Carrick, picks up the puck, drives to the net, and makes a great move to beat Forsberg. And listen, he's found a role in this roster, and you got to know Lindy Ruff absolutely loves this guy. You got to imagine he loves this guy. Like, if you're thinking back to those Lindy Ruff teams that he had in the past, obviously most recently those like from, the good teams that made the playoffs from like 05 to 2010, like you think of guys like probably Mike Greer, grinders like that, more skilled version of Adam Mayer. That's who, Ricky STANICKY is. If you've seen that movie, Hurls on his Twitter today tried to, Photoshop Sam Carrick's face on the movie poster for that movie, Ricky STANICKY. And I told him, you are not allowed to do that until you see the movie. And I know you haven't seen it yet. So those are the rules. So hopefully he goes and watches it because that's a fantastic, hilarious movie. But dude, it's a goal scorer's goal. He lowers his shoulder, goes to the net. That was a pretty goal. And I don't know. He just found maybe a new level to his game since coming to Buffalo. Beck, Benson, and Ricky line has been great. You might even say like that could be one of the better fourth lines in the entire league right now. Honestly, it might be. And that's how fun they've been to watch. They've been great. So, in my opinion, you don't break up that line. Beck Malenstein and Ricky STANICKY have been really Sam Carrick have been really embraced by this fan base. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some shirts come out sooner rather than later, because that's how loved they are, especially in the 8 games we've seen Carrick. He's won the belt at least once in the locker room. And listen, he just plays the game the right way. Really does. He plays a blue collar game in, I don't know. It's not like these goals that he's scoring are just like weird bounces off his leg, or he's finding loose pucks in front. Like, he's putting in the effort, he's putting in the work, and he's shooting, and the puck is going in for him. So I wouldn't be, I'd be interested to know like what his time on ice today was. Archer is still waving. I love it. My cousin, we were all at a family party right before this, and my cousin Mike, shout out to him. He said Archer is still waving at you on the screen. It's funny. I'm not sure. My second cousin, I guess that would be. I'm sure I'll be called Uncle Duane. But yeah, we're all at a family party, and just feeling like everybody's. That was so cool too. As the Sabres are scoring, they took the lead and they increased their lead. Like, everybody's jumping up, celebrating. Like, you just haven't had that in over a decade, and that was so cool. So cool to feel a part of. And people are going out for games again. Bars are packed on the weekends, even on a Sunday game. Was it a week or two ago? It's been just so surreal. How bad do you want a Carrick jersey, guys? It feels like the right move to remember this season. I agree. I think if you're going to buy a jersey to like commemorate this season, regardless of how the playoffs turn out, and the playoff ticket emails have been sent out. There's a buddy of mine who's a season ticket holder who already got his. It was kind of like a pre-email letting him know that, like, to keep an eye out for playoff tickets, more playoff ticket information. If you want to sit there and commemorate this season, you can get an Alex Lyon jersey, you can get a Sam Carrick jersey, you can get a Beck Malenstein jersey. A lot of different options you can go with, man. And I think nobody would hold it against you. Like, I was talking about it earlier today. I was like, I think I might get an Alex Lyon jersey. It was the goalie podcast. I have a Miller jersey, I have a Hasek jersey, I have a Levi jersey. I think it's time to get a Lyon jersey. Right. I almost bought a Craig Anderson jersey at the start of the season when some of his jerseys were still left on the racks at the Sabres store. Like, you can't go wrong with a Craig Anderson jersey because he was fun to watch too. And just knowing his story and the things him and his family have been through in the NHL, coming up through the league, it's a very cool jersey to get. And he's still with the organization too. From Andrew Bobak. Tremendous job by your colleague with the Sabres LA backer takeover in the arena. Yeah, man. He was all over it. He tweeted out, actually, I think 2 of the 4 goals. He definitely got the Benson one. He got the Dahlin goal. I don't know if he got the Sam Carrick goal, but he definitely got at least the last 2. Should have gotten a James Reimer jersey. No, I'll go with Craig Anderson before anything. Lyon jersey would be a great choice, of course. Yeah, for sure. There's so many options you can go with just to remember how cool this season has been. I even go as far as Peyton Krebs jersey at this point, man. Like, nobody's gonna make fun of you. Maybe last year, sure, but Peyton Krebs has been a very integral part to this team too. It's hard. You're hard pressed every single game. It's hard to pick out a player and negatively critique them. It really, really is. I think the last time we did it was maybe with Luke Shen, and, I still think that more or less had to do with just the fact that, new team, new situation, new coach, new system, eh, a lot. I mean, I still think I have a lot of faith in Luke Shen. It's so cool to know that your depth, that your guys that you'll be swapping into this lineup, if and when a guy like maybe Metza or, you know, whomever it might be, might fall off a little bit. Your top three choices are Kessler, Timmins, and Luke Shen. Luke Shen, 18 years in the NHL. Connor Timmins, who, in my opinion, was playing really well to start the season. He was blocking a ton of shots, laying the body. It was hard for me to sit there and look at Connor Timmins and be like, yeah, man, that guy's awful. He shouldn't be on this team. And honestly, like, you have three guys that are really nipping at the bit to try and get into this lineup. And it's so, so cool. We got a question from Rakeem Davis. Out of all the trades Buffalo made, Sam Carrick has been the best one. He has now made a fan out of me. I love his game. I'm assuming you meant to say, let's go. Yeah, man. Let's be real. He's a Lindy Ruff guy. That is an every night guy. He is a guy that when he sees his team's down or struggling or maybe off to a slow start or trying to find their feet, he's the guy that's going to go out there and just make a difference on his next shift. He's going to throw the body around. He's going to dive in front of pucks. He's going to try and will the energy out of his teammates. Hey, guys, I'm going to go and put my face in front of this puck right here. If I'm doing that, I need you guys all to do the same in your own way. Whether, like, you almost think of that show Shoresy. I don't know if any of you have watched that show. I've watched every season. This latest season, one of the kids that they mentored, I forget his name, they all went to go see him play. It was in the first episode of the new season. And, he was really emotional. Things weren't going well for him. Shoresy pulls him to the side and says, let it out, man. He was crying. He missed he was homesick, missed his friends, missed them. And he's like, I got the yips, man. Nothing's going my way. Nothing's going right. I don't know what to do. This is awful. It sucks. Yada, yada, yada. And he goes, well, if you're not scoring, you need to be the hardest working player on the ice. What do I tell you? Be the hardest working player on the ice. Skate harder than anybody else. Hit harder than us. So every shift, you try and find a way to make a difference. And eventually things will start to go your way. That's what I think of when I think of Sam Carrick. That if he's not going to be out there, like, putting up points in the score sheet, he is going to make a difference every single shift he's out there in some way, shape, or form. The same way we've ranted and raved about Beck Malenstein. He blocks shots. He can find ways to score goals, in timely manners. We've seen it this season. He throws the body. He can throw this with the best of them. He reminds me a lot of Brad May. So to have that fourth line, that has been incredible, man. And, having Benson down there with those two, I think it's going to help his game. Obviously you want Benson scoring more and, you want less want him in a top six role, but who better to learn that part of the game from? And how much of a pest Benson can be than two guys like Beck Malenstein and Sam Carrick. I think it's going to be good for Zach Benson playing with those two guys. Thank you, Rakeen, for the $5 donation. That was the super chats. That was awesome. Thank you. Tage has been so patient with the puck lately, just smooth, and saw his new Olympic tattoo. Very nice. Yeah, he had it was a bald eagle right over the Olympic gold rings. That was pretty cool. We saw that pregame. I think Built in Buffalo tweeted out the picture, so that was sick. But yeah, that goal, perfect example, man. Showing patience, dragging the puck in. Only a guy with the type of wingspan like that he does can pull stuff off like that, man. Just, drag it around, tuck it in, boom, boom. Only a handful of guys in the NHL can make that play. Mauricio Benson is not a top six forward. Let's be honest. I think he is, just not right now, not on this current roster, but I think he will be a top six forward. That's just my opinion. Mauricio, he still puts up points on the score sheet. I think the one thing holding him back, and it's the one thing that kind of plagued him to start the season, was his inability to finish. And it's still been like that. You know, he got the empty net goal today, which was nice. But I think once he develops more and finds that finishing ability, that the rest of his game will come and he'll really develop into the complete player that I personally think and know that he is. He's a really fun player to watch. That little Carney out there causing havoc, kind of like Marchand 2.0. I just think there's a chance that he could be as skilled as Brad Marchand in his career once he, again, fully develops into the player I think we all know he's going to be and the player that he's capable of being. We've seen it from him. We really, really have. Um, and me and Hurls have talked about Benson in length on this show. And listen, he's fun to watch regardless. Again, I'm one of those guys who always finds a way to make an impact on for his team. And I still think the Sabres aren't getting enough national recognition. You're getting plenty of local recognition, but I just don't think they're getting enough national recognition yet. And maybe that's for the best. Maybe we remain the underdog, and I'm fine with that. While we're celebrating Sam Carrick's winner, which Sabres have you grown into a fan of during this run? Feels like there could be 24 candidates. This is from Jordan LaBarber on Twitter. Just, who have you grown fond of? Like, for me, it's easy to answer. It's Alex Lyon. As a goalie, he's just been such a calming presence for this team. And I think his play has definitely affected UPL's play because you're putting UPL in a position where he has to play well because he doesn't want to lose his job for a third year in a row to a goaltender who's, many might consider past his prime. It's kind of back to UPL into a corner for him to have the season that he's had so far. And don't get me wrong, there have been some ups and downs with him, but I think for the most part, you can definitely credit Alex Lyon just being there and playing the way he is to help boost UPL's play up to the next level. And getting back to that, his game today, I don't know. He had some big saves there early on, but again, a very good defensive effort from the Buffalo Sabres. I don't really remember after the first period a time where I felt like UPL and the Sabres really hemmed into their own end and just were under fire. I thought they did a good job at helping him see pucks today. And he did his job, man. I remember there's one glove save that he made where like the lane from the shooter to it was like almost like a throughway lane's worth of width. Nobody was anywhere near him. Easy save. And it was like that a lot for him tonight or today. And I can appreciate that. You love it when your team plays that well in front of you and lets you see every puck that's coming at you. It's awesome. From Nicholas DePerno, I'm just thinking about the first playoff overtime goal with this team and who will it be? Nick, I don't know. I think overtime, your top six are going to be playing a lot of minutes. Lindy is the type of guy who probably will like to roll three lines. Man, I could totally see it being like a Jason Zucker, a guy who's been there before, for sure. Either him or maybe Tage. I could see that for sure. One loss since the Olympic break. That's crazy. From Sean Smith. You're right, man. It's been crazy. And Sabres, I really do believe this division is theirs to lose at this point. I don't foresee anybody winning the division over them right now. Tampa's time is over. It's Buffalo's time now. So, but yeah, to answer your question, Nick, I do think, in my opinion, it feels like it's probably going to be, I'm going to go one of three players. I'm going to say Jason Zucker, Tage, or Josh Doan. I think it'd be one of those three guys. And honestly, what really sucks about having that conversation is the fact that, and this is not a knock against, Dan Dunleavy. Dan Dunleavy is still, probably one of the better play-by-play guys in the entire league. But it would be really cool to hear RJ lose his fucking mind one more time in overtime of a playoff game. It really would be. We all miss him. I know I miss him. So, no, our fourth line is dominant. Comp contenders run all four lines. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think you could. I do think you could. I just think in those situations, your gunslingers are probably going to get a little more time on ice. I'm not saying that your fourth line wouldn't play, but I think there would be a little bit more focus on your gunslingers. They're going to get a little more time on the ice when you're looking for a goal and a next goal wins situation. Benson, so much harder out there. This team is so impressive as a whole. So proud of what they have done. Yeah, listen. I know Benny gets some hate from some people in the chat from time to time, but that guy never, ever, 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 ever takes a shift off. Never takes a shift off. He just doesn't. There was a picture. Oh, that's funny. Saber, this is tweeted at me by William Kenna, tweeted at the podcast. Saber fan waving bribe money at refs during the review is awesome. That's fantastic. That's funny. Would love to know who that fan was. Yeah. And here's another thing too. We've been talking internally a lot about doing doing some more merchandise, Sabres merchandise, two goalies, one Mike merchandise. Let me know in the chat what type of merch you guys like to see out there. We have some cool ideas. Something that we've been talking about with a company like 26 Shirts. So give me some ideas in the chat of maybe some merchandise examples you'd like to see us if we did decide to put out like an online store or something, other than like your generic or normal podcasting merch, like our logo or two goalies one mic stuff. Like, just give me some ideas because we definitely want to do some fun stuff, especially with how cool this run has been and how special it's felt. So Benson has been more controlled with his stick. I mean, he sure showed it on that goal. There are 0 post-game pods for the Sabres. Yep, I am the only one. So, and I want to say, I was thinking about it. Heading into, I was driving home from that engagement party. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, we really haven't missed any games this season. We haven't. Like normally we'll take like the games like these past two off, or the ones that start at 10 p.m. Hurls has the advantage of being in California where he lives, and obviously like his post game for a 10 o'clock start would actually be like around 10 o'clock, whereas that's my normal start time here on the East Coast at Eastern Standard Time. So, but we didn't, and I'm gonna have to look back and see how many games we actually missed, because you could probably honestly up until this point count it on one hand, which would be a first for this show since it started with I'll hang up and listen. So we've been pretty committed to giving you guys this type of content all season long. And we're going to continue to do that. Benson is a plus 22 or plus 21, bordering 850 winning percentage since last Blizzard are Sabres. Wow. That's crazy. Alex Lyon was a fan favorite in Florida. Wings or Bruins, not that it matters. Who should we root for? I mean, who do I want to play in the first round? I know they're playing each other today because it was, an original 6 matchup was promoted the shit out of it on social media and TV. I don't know who I'd rather play. That's a tough one. Part of me wants to say Detroit. I don't know. Because the Bruins historically are a tough matchup for any team because they play a very physical brand of hockey, even though Buffalo has shown they can play that type of hockey. But I don't know, man. I feel like those are Bruins teams of the past, not anymore. Man, I think I'm going to go Detroit because they're not healthy right now. Not that I want to beat teams that, don't have their full lineup ahead of them. But listen, if we can win a playoff round, win 2 playoff rounds, we talked about on a couple post game shows ago. Like, I think this team can make the Eastern Conference Finals, and then it's anybody's cup at that point. I think this team can. I think this team can win minimum 2 playoff rounds. And honestly, it's going to come down to goaltending. Goaltending is always huge in the playoffs. I think it's going to come down to goaltending without a shot of a doubt. So, um, and I still believe that it'll be Alex Lyon to start the playoffs. I think that he has the experience in the playoffs, and I think that the Sabres feel like they can play a little bit more loose in front of him, if that makes any sense. I not that that's a bad thing, because I feel like they really button things up a little bit more in front of UPL. At least that's what I've noticed. I don't know how you guys feel. I'd have to see the analytics of it, like high danger scoring chances for or against or whatever. But I just feel like the Sabres play a more defensive brand of hockey in front of UPL, and they kind of let loose a little bit more in front of Alex Lyon. I could be wrong. I don't know. Rather have Detroit the reason their goaltending. I agree. I would rather not face Jeremy Swayman in the playoffs. Very good point. Very good point. Islanders possibility playoff round. They're 1 point behind. They also need to change. They also need to change this playoff format. It's awful. You could be losing 2 to 3 top seed teams in the first round because they're going to make them play each other, which is stupid. I don't agree with it at all. I wish they go back to the old format, the one I grew up with, essentially, which, those rounds, that format will just create rivalries on their own. I hate this format, man. I hope they address it in like off-season GM meetings, because it is absolutely awful. No doubt about it. Excuse me. Talking so much, my voice is about to run out. We'll get to the post-game quotes here too, from inside the locker room. Again, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need to get a beer, whether you're celebrating a Sabres win, you're pre-gaming for a Sabres game, or need somewhere to go watch Sabres game, get to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over at 2 Goalies, 1 Mike. From Tage Thompson, I think we were a little stubborn to start the game, trying to force plays to the middle of the ice. Once we found our legs and played more simple, get pucks behind them, got more lines going and wore them down in the third. Thompson says the type of play Benson made to take the hit to set up Carrick is an awesome play by Benny, and says plays like that are why they have been winning. Thompson says guys are really buying in on the strong defensive mindset lately. Says it's maturity in their game with the puck. Says lately they've won a lot of puck battles, and it becomes frustrating to play against for the other teams. Thompson says, and this is one thing I'm going to bring up to Dell too, about doing maybe a 2 Goalies with Mike shirt. Thompson says that one of their slogans inside is everyone ropes, everyone rides. So it's infectious that everyone cares about winning. They are all in on that. UPL says he was happy to be ready to go and make a big save just 9 seconds into the game. More from Luukkonen, says he and Lyon are having fun pushing each other to play well. Says they have a good rotation going. Carrick says he knew Benson would make the play and get the puck deep where he could skate under it and retrieve it to set up the goal. Carrick says they knew that the Kings would come out hot, knowing they are in a playoff race. Once they settled in and got their legs going, the chances came. Rough on Benson during the game-winning goal. The play he made was a big-time play. Took a hit and allowed Ricky to grab it, and it took it to the net with authority. Rough on the fourth line. That line has done a great job. The plays they are making with goals, block shots, winning battles. Says they are getting a great effort from all 4 lines. Says even when one line is off, the other line picks them up. Like, listen, you get three quotes in there from Lindy Ruff about that 4th line. Like we said earlier, that those players that play on that line, those are Lindy Ruff type hockey players. They were brought in probably because of the way he coaches, and he's getting the best out of that line right now. Exactly. Logo on the front, name, not the name on the back. Agreed. 100%. It's such a fun team to watch, man. Really is. I've never had. It's probably this is the first time I've had this much fun watching a Sabres hockey team since probably 05 to 07. That team in 2009, 2010 was a lot of fun, but I don't know, man. This team, they never feel out of a game. Very reminiscent of that 05, 06, 06, 07 team, where when they were even down 2 goals in the third period, you just knew they were going to find a way to come back. They were never, ever, 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 ever out of a game. And this feels so reminiscent of those hockey teams. So shout out again to our sponsor, Fatty Beer Company, that was inside the locker room, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company. My final thoughts on this game is, which is normally Hurls' spot, but again, of course, he is not here. So I'll take over in his stead. Listen, this division is now the Buffalo Sabres to lose. It isn't just about making playoffs anymore. This is about winning the division. This is about having the best record in the Eastern Conference, which is very much a possibility for this team, even with the teams. I don't know how the out-of-town scoreboard went today, but I would say that both of those things are definitely the Sabres to lose, in my opinion. At least the Atlantic Division, which would be their first division title probably since 2009, 2010. They're absolutely in the conversation to win the conference. It's really just them and Carolina at this point. I think it's a 2-dog race, in my opinion. Again, the Sabres are now second in the NHL in goals scored with 246. They are tied for 6th in the league with goals against with 201. So that's crazy that you are second best in the league for goals scored. And then you are 6th best in the league, I'm assuming, is with goals against with 201. Wow. Just wow. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Unbelievable what they're doing. What a run. No question. Line will start in the playoffs. Scoring for Norris, yes, but he has been active on the boards and digging, finishing checks. Yeah, that's the thing. I saw Mauricio's comment earlier about Norris, feeling like he was in a slump. No, I don't think he's in a slump. I think he's finding different ways to contribute. It's hard for me to find a player on this team that isn't contributing in a positive way. Kevin Adams division, Duane. Oh God, can we please stop talking about that guy? This is Yarmo's team now, not Kevin Adams. Kevin Adams is dead. Not dead, but you know what I mean. The legacy, Kevin Adams is dead. Be done with it. So I'm leaving it in the rear view. This is Yarmo's team now. Now Norris out there working 100%. Yeah, no players are taking shifts off. When is the last time we were able to talk about that this late in the season? That you never question the effort, never question the intensity, the urgency. Me and Hurls have had so many post-game shows dating back to the last season, the season before that, even the start of this season, where you were questioning their sense of urgency. Not anymore, man. Not anymore. They have been ready to play at every single puck drop since this run has began. It's been special. This team is just special. Blue collar hockey, exactly. I just want to say a shout out to all you who sent out the super chats. We really appreciate your contributions to the podcast. I couldn't stress that enough. We do this for you. In the years past, when if Hurls couldn't do this, I might think about skipping today. But I know you guys are all going to be here. I know kind of a little shaky start there a little bit. We're trying to, normally we just use the same old song that we've always used, but now with the monetization, they slap you on the wrist with the copyrights, and we had to find the right one. I made the mistake of not having it uploaded to go live the second I pressed go live. And I looked like a dipshit sitting there looking down at my phone. So I'm sitting around like, why isn't the music? Where's the music? Oh, am I? Oh, honestly, thank God I wasn't doing anything stupid there, like picking my nose or something, because that would have been funny, right? That'd have been hilarious. Somebody would screen grab that and post it on my timeline. This has been great. Happy Saturday to all of you. Yes, 12 games left. Crazy. We were almost there. How much of a cancer was Kevin Adams the moment he gets canned? They start winning. You can tell the teams are starting to watch film. Nobody is floating, no flybys. They're grinding. Agreed. Absolutely. So if you guys have enjoyed this podcast, if you're audio only, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you get your audio only podcasts. If you follow us along on Twitter, you can find myself at Duane S39. That's at Duane S39. You can find my co-host Connor Hurls at CHurls13. You can find the podcast itself at Two Goalies, One Mic. We can find us on Facebook, Instagram at all those same handles. And I see as many of you are watching on YouTube. Please make sure you hammer that subscribe button, press subscribe, press the bell icon, turn those notifications on so you know when we go live. And please smash that like button. Smash it. I see you all on YouTube. Like this video right now. Please. Please and thank you. We'll talk to you guys later. See you all after the duck hunt. Hey, remember, if assuming Alex Lyon starts that game, if they get that win, he ties the NHL record for most consecutive wins by a goalie. He ties it with Evgeny Nabokov and Devin Dubnyk. Sign off with that because I predict it's going to happen. Just like I predicted the Sabres would win the division after they beat Tampa. We'll talk to you guys later. And as always, go Sabres.